All right, today on the Energize Leader podcast, I am so excited. In
Mhm.
fact, I've been looking forward to this interview for a very long
Mhm.
time because I have Mr. Mike McGrory. He's been the superintendent in Ottumwa, Iowa for how many years?
6 years.
For 6 years. He's done an extraordinary job transforming the school district. So thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for being on my podcast today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Well, let's start out just by asking, or let me have you tell everybody a little bit about you, how you started, and so people know that you've got quite a bit of experience there.
Sure. Yeah, I would be happy to, Desi. Yeah, my background maybe is a little bit different than most in education, is that when I started off, I always knew I wanted to go into education, but I also loved an academic challenge. And so when I was in college, I finished up my student teaching, but then from student teaching, I went right on to law school.
Oh, wow.
And and then I finished up law school, and then I went into teaching, and I did my teaching in Iowa City, and from there, I've had quite a few different administrative positions, a lot of principalships, small schools. I've had where my first principalship was a K-12 building. All the kids were in one building,
Wow.
you know? And you know how sometimes parents are concerned about a child riding a bus, a second grader with a sixth grader.
Yes.
They were riding buses, second grader with the 12th grader,
Yeah.
and everything worked great and everything.
Yeah.
But from there, I've had some really unique experiences in education. I went from there to actually here in Ottumwa as a middle school principal. And that's part of my drawback to Ottumwa was just the experience I had initially here. I just loved that experience and I loved Ottumwa. And from there, then I went to Ames as a principal, high school principal for 10 years. And then I had an opportunity, a district in Illinois reached out, Hinsdale, Illinois. It's a suburb of Chicago. And Ames was probably one of the highest performing school districts in Iowa. And then Hinsdale, you could have made the argument maybe that it was the highest performing high school in the country. And so
Oh,
having those experiences,
yes. That's a lot of
it
experience.
is, it is a lot of
Wow. And then
experience.
to bring that back to Ottumwa is really quite remarkable, especially with the idea. And we talked about this before we started that before you came, the morale of the school district was low.
Mm,
And so, what did you do, especially with all that experience? How did you build
right.
that back up?
Sure. I think two main things, really. One is really listening to your people and really for them to be heard. And I think a really good example of that probably was when we surveyed our stakeholders. The big question that was looming for me was, do we want to build one large elementary on the north side?
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember all that.
yes,
I
yes.
do.
And and we had done that before I came. We had done that at Liberty,
Yeah.
built a large elementary. And hearing from our staff and our community, it was clear that they did not want that,
Hmm.
and they loved a small, personalized learning environment. And when people saw that we were willing to listen, that they would have input,
Hmm.
it started to develop a lot of trust. And what I found is once you develop that trust and you continue that type of relationship, that you can get so much more accomplished.
Oh,
And
so
it,
true.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. The trust level was so high that we could get so many things done after
Uh,
we decided to do the small personalized elementary schools. And I think, the other variable that you want to, as a leader in education, you want to give people the resources they need to be successful.
right.
And so we really focused on that as far as
Mm,
lowering class sizes,
yes.
giving them more supports in the classroom. The one thing, Desi, we probably have done more of this than almost any school district in Iowa is also developing programs that would help our teachers with behavioral issues in the classroom, but also help the students. And so we have a lot more programs, therapy classroom, our SALT BD program. There's just so many more junior kindergarten
Mm.
programs that help the student, but they also help the classroom environment as
Hmm.
well.
Didn't you create something? So you have to remind me that was related to helping students with their mental health.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remind me what that is.
Yeah, we're really proud of all the work we have done in the mental health area and what I think you're alluding to. Basically, we created support centers at the high school and also at the middle school where kids can go in. We call them brain-based
That's right.
retreat rooms.
Yeah. Okay, say that again. Brain-based
Brain-based retreat
retreat
room.
rooms. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And, we had such success at the high school because, it's an organization out of Dubuque that helps you develop it, fund it, and so
Mm.
forth, that they saw the success we were having there, that they decided they'd make us the first one in Iowa for middle school.
Ah,
And it's really it's a great opportunity for our kids, but it's also designed, for adults as well, so
oh,
staff can
oh, for the
utilize it
staff
too.
too.
Yeah,
Oh, that
yeah,
is really good.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, what would you say how would you describe an energized leader in one word?
Optimism, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I have interviewed so many people. I don't think anybody
Oh,
has said
is it?
that. I
Really?
mean, that is such a good one.
Yeah.
And why do you say that?
Well, I think, as a leader, you have to always be optimistic that we can do this, always optimistic that things are gonna turn out well, and the trick is not being overly optimistic.
Yeah.
If you're overly optimistic and you can't those things don't happen and so forth, that causes you issues too, so it's remaining optimistic, but being in a way that we can do this, and you
Mhm.
show people time after time that we can do these things, you know?
Yeah. Well, that kind of reminds me of the initiative, and I don't
Mhm.
know if you started it
Yeah.
or when it started, and that was the initiative for the school district Be the
Yeah,
Best.
yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, I was part of starting that. One of the things I really wanted to bring to Ottumwa that I thought, after evaluating what their needs were, our district was bringing back pride in our school district
Mm,
and optimism.
yes. Mhm.
And probably one of the more important things, Desi, for me was that I wanted our staff and our students to know that they deserved and
Mm.
could have everything every other school district had. So that was a big initiative of ours, and we kind of put it under the umbrella of we want to be the best school district in Iowa. And
But beside that, it's a seed that you're always planting in the students. Be the
hmm
best. I mean, it's before their
hmm
eyes, and if something goes, not right, were you being the best today? I
right,
mean, it's
right,
always bringing them back to
right,
be the best.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have to be honest. It caught on a lot quicker and it has endured a lot
Very
longer
much.
than I
Yeah.
thought it would.
Mhm.
People have really bought into it. And I get sometimes, Desi, it's kind of, it's ironic that when somebody's asking me for something, they'll oftentimes, well, if you want to be the best, you should do.
There you go. I bet you've heard that more
Yeah,
than once.
I have. Yes, I have.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. So, what does an energized workplace culture look like to you?
To me, it looks like, and I feel like that's one of my fortes is that creating an environment where it's exciting to work in. There's no parameters on what we can accomplish, and that every voice and every person's valued and heard. And because what I've learned through my educational journey is like if you aren't willing to bring people in and push back in your thinking and
Mhm.
help you with your thinking, you're not going to make great decisions. And creating that environment where no idea, is wrong, no idea can't happen. And I think we have several examples of that in our district,
Mhm.
like free breakfast and free lunch for our kids. A
Oh,
lot of people thought, well, you can't do that, and you can't,
huh.
but it was so important, I think, to the needs of our community and our kids and
Yes.
families that I really wanted to figure out a way to make that happen. And we
Mhm.
did. And we did in a way that, we can sustain it for quite a while.
Plus, that when you feed children, you're fueling their
Oh,
minds.
oh, it's
Yeah.
huge.
I
It's
mean, I
huge.
know what I'm like. I mean, I had to make sure I ate before I came, or else my glucose would be so low and I would be just staring at you. So I totally get that is
Yeah.
like so important.
There's
What a
such
great
a
thing.
correlation
Oh,
between
yes.
that and
Hmm.
academic performance. It
Definitely.
was huge for our district. I think the other one that we're unique in Iowa is offering free 3 and 4-year-old preschool.
Oh, yeah.
There
Mm,
isn't any school district in Iowa that offers it at the scale we do.
right.
But most people thought, well, you can't do that or you won't be able, and we were able to figure out how to do that. physical plan things like the one that I think a lot of people thought we could not do was like have a gym at the high school, a
Oh, yeah.
competition gym. People, when I first proposed that, people said, well, there's no room. You'd never be able to do that.
Yeah.
And we figured out a way to,
It just opened what?
yeah, actually, over the winter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not too
hmm
long ago, about
hmm
5 months,
hmm
4 or 5 months ago. Yeah.
I think one of the things that as a district we're most proud of that we've done here in the last few years is creating an environment. We wanted all of our kids to feel like they could have the best, even our alternative kids, and opening a new alternative school,
Mm,
and
mhm.
it being
It's
probably
beautiful.
it's beautiful,
Yeah.
yeah, and I wanted to make sure our alternative kids knew how much we valued them
Yes.
and that
Mhm.
they felt like they were valued,
Mhm.
and so,
Yeah.
and again, if you would have saw that building before
I
we
have
started,
seen it.
yeah,
I mean, we're talking about day and night, and
yeah,
now it's state of the art,
yeah,
beautiful, and I mean, when they walk in, they have to feel like
yeah,
they're important, they're
yeah,
valued, so
right,
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, believe me, everybody, he has accomplished so much in this school district. So one other thing I wanna talk about, which I think is a major accomplishment, and that is banning electronic
Mm,
devices, cell phones. So
mhm.
talk about that because I'm sure you had some pushback on that, didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. You know, the thing on that, Desi, was that I really had to decide on that was we had so many things going on at the time, is do I wanna take this on?
Mhm.
And as I start to research, like, the benefits of it and the impact it could have, it was for me, it was a no-brainer. One of the bigger impacts that, I was struck by was the impact social media, the negative impact
Mm,
that it has on females and during their adolescent years and so forth.
yeah.
And it's dramatic. And so when we looked at it, I also had enough experience that I knew that the group that would have pushed back the most, you're really highly involved parents that would have been concerned about safety,
Right.
would have been concerned about how do I get a hold of my student and so forth, that now they've kind of seen the ills of cell phones, and
Mhm.
they were probably some of my biggest supporters
Oh,
because they
good.
have saw the downside now of cell phones too.
Yeah.
And so it was easier for me to get buy-in from that group,
Mhm.
well, than it would have been 10 years ago,
Mhm. Oh,
and
definitely.
so I knew I could get that type of buy-in, and I knew I could defend it as far as what it would do for kids. But, the other things that it's been it's obviously does so much for the academic atmosphere in classrooms, but also I really wanted our kids to start interacting with each other more. And it's just night and day, like in the lunchroom, the hallways.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
interacting with each other, they're having
Mhm. Versus
conversations.
like this.
Right.
My goodness. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's funny we were talking about this because I was a judge at the Wapello County Fair for the King and Queen last year, which
Mm.
I'll never judge again. That was too hard. It was like, oh my goodness, will never do this again. And
It's kinda like my first experience as a principal. You're willing to do anything they ask,
yeah.
and I agreed to judge, picking the cheerleaders for
Oh.
yeah, and I realized very quickly I don't wanna do that again.
Oh, well, I learned my lesson, but the question came up to them as to, this school system has banned electronic devices, cell phones. What's your thoughts? And one of the kids said this. I don't think that was right.
Mm, mhm.
I don't think that's fair. I mean, our phones are ours. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
And then the next contestant says, it was a little tough at first, but you know what? I got so much done.
yeah, yeah.
And I was talking to people, and it was like, they know.
Yes.
They really do. And the impact is of not, like I said, doing this all the time. I mean, it's the same way when you go anywhere and I mean,
Yeah,
restaurants everywhere. I mean, this is what people do now.
yeah,
And that has affected
yeah.
society so much.
Well, and the point you were making earlier about some of our mental health work, what we've seen is the kids that were most against it, and some kids still struggle a little bit with it, but most kids would say, even though I struggle with it, it's absolutely the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's helped me mental health wise so much. And that's really, when you start hearing those things, that's really
Mhm.
reassuring.
Can you think of because I still think there's so many other accomplishments. Anything else that you think you've contributed to the school system to make it what it is today?
Well, and I always really emphasize that, it's a team. And
Mhm.
I really view my role as being very minor in the whole scheme of things. But as a team, I think we have accomplished a lot of other things. Like one of the things that I noticed about our district when we talked about wanting to make sure our staff and students felt like they could have everything other districts had
Mm.
is we were really lacking in a lot of our physical plant buildings, the condition.
Mhm.
Uh, we had some of our elementaries had original furniture in it still, and
We're going back a long way.
oh yeah, yeah, 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
And then one of the things I noticed too when I first came that I made sure we did away with was porta potties. And it sounds like it's kind of
What?
strange, yeah, but we would have porta potties at events, like soccer or something.
Really?
And the perception or what
Ah,
that spoke of your district,
yeah.
to visiting, school districts. I wanted our students and our staff to feel like, hey, we're better than
Yeah,
that.
I guess I don't remember the porta potties.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah. So
Wow.
it is minor, but it's just those type of
Yeah.
things. Like, so one of the things I'm as a district we're really proud of is that we probably have put almost $65 million in renovations. So every one of our buildings have been remodeled, all new furniture,
Wow.
also a new elementary, so we could have the small
Yeah.
personalized learning
Mhm.
environment on the south side, adding on to our preschool, so all those physical plant and
Mhm.
then the new things we have like the new alternative school and then remodeling our high school because that was a big decision we had to make was do we build a new high school
Yeah.
or do we remodel our current one?
Mhm.
And there's such affinity for OHS
Yeah.
and
Such a landmark sitting on that
it is.
hill. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is. And then also the practical aspect of that. We would have had to, Desi, like save up for 10 years and not do anything as a district and then still pass a bond issue in order to build a new high school. And if we would have done that, it could have been 15, 20
Yeah.
years, and
Yeah.
still may not have happened. So uh, I'm really proud of that. All that, when you look at like our new tennis courts, got tennis courts of the year
Yeah.
last year, all those type of things. It really, I think, sends a strong statement about our district that,
Yeah.
that,
Well, it's beautiful. I mean, when you drive by and you see all the new signs
hmm
and even the plants. I mean, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's important when you walk into some place that it's not run down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. And
Mm,
I think maybe you've noticed this too, is we've really emphasized the outside of our buildings
mhm.
because what I know having been in education is that 95% of your people, parents and community never get in your buildings.
Mm,
They form their opinion based on the outside of your buildings.
true.
And you probably have noticed and I give so much credit to our buildings and grounds people, our custodians. We have some of the nicest grounds. And that's kind of a passion of mine, my
Yeah.
background. I'm a master gardener.
Ah.
Yeah. And so but I know the importance of those aspects of, again, projecting
Yeah.
a positive image of your school
Definitely.
district. Yeah.
Very nice, very
Yeah.
nice. So if you could go back in time and change anything as a leader, what would that be?
I think the biggest thing that I would change as a leader is it took a while for me to realize two things. One is that it's important to have a vision, but you don't, well, a lot of times when you have a vision, when I first started off, I also knew how I wanted to get to that vision,
Mm,
and if I wasn't taking the direction I thought we were to get to the vision, I became frustrated.
yeah.
And what I realized, it doesn't matter how you get to the vision. It's just that you get to the vision
Right.
and allowing other people to be part of the process,
Mhm.
pushing back in your thinking, changing how you get to the vision will allow you to not only get to the vision, but actually that vision will be much better.
Yeah.
And so realizing to let go, that you don't always have
I
to.
was gonna ask you, what are
Yeah.
those practical things that you had to do that?
Right, right. You have
Mhm.
to be willing to take other people's input.
Mm,
It's oftentimes difficult to find people that maybe will push back on a superintendent's thinking.
yeah.
And so you really have to empower people to do that. You have to show that you're willing to listen, those type
Mhm.
of things. So I think those are things that I've learned through, that I wish I would have changed sooner,
Hmm.
you know. But when you're starting an administration, you're also trying to show people that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm the smart one. I
yeah,
know I
right.
know what I'm doing.
Right. There's that pressure,
Yeah.
and as you progress, you realize, that isn't important at all,
Hmm.
and you have to have enough confidence in yourself to
Yeah.
know that
I
you,
love
you know
that.
what you're doing. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So, what kind of advice, especially now, you probably don't know this, but this is his last day retiring. This is his very last day. And so, with the idea of retiring and just giving advice to a teacher, a principal, another superintendent, what would you say to each of those?
I think one of the bigger things my piece of advice would be is not to react out of emotion.
Yeah.
So often we react to things out of emotion and we don't realize we have time to problem solve that. We don't have to make a decision right now. Like I tell my principals all the time is like 99% of the problems you're going to deal with are not problems you have to decide right now. So you step
Mm,
back, you can look at all the aspects, take the
mhm,
emotion out, and then make the decision. You have time, and
wow.
sometimes we rush to make decisions because we feel pressure or we think we have to, and then we don't make the best
That's
decisions.
good advice for everybody in
Right.
life. Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. All right, so we're going to end with a fun question.
Okay.
And in the last, let's say, 4 or 5 months, is there a fun gadget or book or movie that you've gotten, read, or seen?
Okay. Well, this one, I don't know if this answers your question, but it falls under is somewhat controversial. Is AI? Yeah,
Okay.
and I have always been a proponent in AI. That I see the value of it. I see the downside of it
Mm-hmm.
too, but
Hmm.
that there's so many positives to it that
Yes.
I have really tried to understand it and really tried to utilize it in a manner that
Mhm.
has helped me tremendously as
Mhm.
a leader.
Mhm.
And
Well, like, in what ways?
so many different ways is if I'm writing a speech,
Yeah.
helping me write a speech. I do a weekly communication to staff, and they're so much more articulate and
Mhm.
comprehensive than they used to be because
Yeah.
I get help from AI, you
Mhm.
know, and
Mhm.
but then also your day-to-day aspects of, like, budgeting, those type of
Mhm.
things. It's amazing what
Mhm.
AI can do as far as
Yeah.
helping you with those aspects as well.
I think there's more to it than we know that can really how it can really benefit us. I was talking with an AI expert at a
Mm,
conference, and I mean, he travels the world studying AI. He's created a lot of AI products, and he was talking about hopefully there will be a day where AI can bring all the information to bring cures to cancer and
yeah,
different diseases.
for
I
sure.
mean, how could it not
Right,
if that information is out there? So
right,
yeah, so
right.
that's a really, really good
Yeah.
answers. How do you think you can incorporate fun, humor, and laughter into the workplace?
By not taking yourself, so seriously, you know,
Yeah.
and I always have felt that that's a tool to make people more relaxed
Yes.
when they're meeting with you, when they're, interacting with you. And by doing that, you get more thoughts, you get more ideas, you get more, so I
Yeah.
think there's a huge benefit to creating that type of atmosphere.
For sure,
Mm,
for sure. Well, thank you so much.
you're
It's been
welcome.
my honor to interview, especially on your last day. I got it, and I'm sure that so much of what you said is going to add so much value to so many other leaders. So thank you.
Thanks for having me too.
You're
I
very
appreciate it.
welcome.